I want to bring in his mother, Robbie Middleton, is in St. Louis, and her attorney, Craig Sico, is in San Antonio. And Colleen, I just want to begin with you. Our condolences to you. I know this is your son's death is very recent. And from what I've been told, this is the first time here that you have heard that part of your son's deposition describing this alleged sex abuse. Listening to it as a mother, how did the words sit with you?
It's just devastating. I can't believe, all that they did to him, and then they turned around and did that also. It's very upsetting.
What kind of child was Robert? I know you call him Robbie. A good kid, sensitive child?
He was a very good kid. He was happy-go-lucky. He was very considerate towards other people. He loved animals, just like everybody else's child, I suppose.
We're looking at some of these pictures, and we're going to click through some of these that you shared, but I do want to warn our viewers, some of them, they're tough to look at. I know Robbie endured, I read the deposition, some 200 surgeries, and as we'll see here in a moment, I mean, his life clearly physically drastically changed, but how was it moving forward, Colleen, after he was 8? Here he is, I guess, at Christmas time. How did everything change for you?
Everything changed. I had to grieve for the child that he was, for what could have been, and I grieved for it for a long time. But then eventually Robert became the same happy-go-lucky child, and life was good. Life was livable again.
It was livable, but you said you lost, in a sense, normalcy, your own son, as you knew.
Yes, I did.
What was the toughest part about that?
All that could have been. He was just so full of potential. He was so healthy. Robert ran everywhere he went. He was just such a healthy child. And then that was taken away from him. And he never fit in. Everywhere we went, people stared at him. He was never normal in that sense again. But at home, between us and our family, he was the same sweet, happy-go-lucky child that he had been.
Now, we know that this neighbor boy who was named in the attack, Donald Collins, he was arrested. Craig, my question to you here, why wasn't he ever tried?
Well, we're still trying to figure that out. We have recently learned through statements that have been offered that there was a confession at or near the time of the incident, and that there was evidence available. And I think a big question is why nobody ever asked the pertinent questions about this molestation when at the time there were accusations of potential molestation of other children. That's the reason we're doing what we're doing now, is we're trying to ask that question, why wasn't he prosecuted, and what can we do to make it happen now?
From what I have, read from the research we've done here in Montgomery County DA, these prosecutors say, there was contradictory evidence, but I just want to make sure I am hearing you crystal clear, Craig. So Donald Collins never spent a day in jail, or I guess he was 13 at the time when all of this, allegedly happened. So did he never spend a day in jail or juvenile detention for any of this?
No, well, what took place was he was taken into custody under what I think at the time we've been able to discern was the authorities heard him make statements, or statements were recounted to them establishing that he knew something that only somebody at the scene would know. They took him into custody, they held him for a while, and he was released. At the time, he had not, I don't believe he had an official guardian since his mother had passed, and this investigation went on for the better part of 2 years when it was decided they would suspend the investigation.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make clear. So he was in custody, but ultimately it was dropped at the time. So, Colleen, to you then, what are you hoping to get out of this, civil lawsuit? And do you want this to go beyond, simple restitution here? Are you hoping that this will turn into a criminal case?
Yes, I am. I'm hoping, and Robert hoped also, to stop this person from injuring any other children.
I know in looking as part of this deposition, there is this medical abstract of death certificate, and it mentions squamous cell carcinoma of skin invading abdominal cavity, essentially that he died of skin cancer that was spreading to his stomach. So if you're seeking ultimately a murder charge, how then do you link his skin cancer to the burns he received back in 1998 from the gasoline attack?
His skin cancer was specific to burn scars. He had something called Marjolin's ulcer, and that's found in people with skin who's been burned.
So just so I'm clear, doctors that you've talked to have explained inexplicably that his particular type of cancer is linked to what happened to him in '98.
Yes, ma'am.
I do want to say we've reached out to Mr. Donald Collins, to his attorney. We have yet to get a response. But Colleen, I want you to have the last word. You lost your son. In a sense, you lost him many years ago. What is justice for you here looking forward? What do you want out of this fight?
I want to make sure that I can move ahead with a clear conscience, knowing I did everything I possibly could to stop these people from injuring another child like they did Robert.
Colleen Middleton, Craig Sico, thank you both very much. We'll be following up on this with you. Appreciate it.